Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
How's it going?
It's good.
Today, we have a double feature, and it's called Ice Baby. Just like Vanilla Ice used to sing.
Well, yeah, I wanted to do a double feature, but I guess it's going to just be like one, but it is sort of like a double feature in one, because we have two rabbit holes that are seemingly unrelated, but I don't know.
They're ice themed.
And
we're heading into the Ice Age.
A new ice age.
It's a new ice age.
Oh my God. Does that mean, are there some dinosaurs that are going to go extinct?
Yeah, we're going to find a snaggletooth tiger somewhere. So this is kind of a weird week in the news because ice is featured prominently in the news.
Ice is a prominent topic.
So first we have another ice-related shooting in Minneapolis, and his name's Pretty and her name's Good. And they're both pretty. God. Together, they're pretty good.
Pretty good.
So
that seems a little fishy.
Yeah. And then you can tell it's all fake and it's all scripted because it's like the street names are all like coordinating with
their names.
Yeah. Their names and
the addresses
are
all weird, like Masonic numbers, and
it's all totally staged.
It's getting, you know what, this horror film that we've been experiencing the last several years is turning into a comedy.
Totally.
Isn't it?
Well, when you learn, there's a lot of people out there who are going to watch these news stories and they're going to think about, oh my God, that poor guy got killed. But that guy didn't get killed. That was all script.
Yeah.
That was all an act.
They made it look like he was basically executed, like at point, what do they call it?
Point blank.
Point blank.
Yeah.
Range. Like the guy just shot him like in the head right there on the spot. I don't think that happened.
Plus, it's another guy just like resisting arrest and
right.
But it's like always
fighting
a script.
Ice.
Yeah.
He was fighting ice.
Dude, okay, you can fight ice, but see, the thing is that these people think that the way you fight ice is you go stand in front of people with guns.
Yeah.
And get filmed doing it, and that's like the way that you do revolutions.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's stupid.
So let's play devil's advocate.
Let's assume that it's real.
Let's assume that he actually got shot. Is it possible that this person could have actually been shot?
I mean, is it possible? Sure, but I don't believe it. But yeah, it's just, you got to look at it like this. It works out so perfect for Satan.
It works out so perfect. And also, it's, there's just a few too many coincidences involved in these events, with the names, the addresses, the numbers.
It's a pretty good chance it's fake.
It's a pretty good chance it's fake. It's sort of like, in a way it's a tight script, but in another way it's really unimaginative because they keep using the same themes and names over and over again. Like, you would think they would get a little more imaginative, but that's almost like why I start saying it's almost like a comedy, because it's a comedy, but it's also a tragedy, because I feel like they are putting this stuff so out there in our faces and basically laughing at us.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
It is. It's a joke for you to actually sit there and believe this stuff.
Yeah,
I think you have to just be completely drinking the Kool-Aid.
Totally. I think they're laughing at the people who totally believe it, and I think they're also laughing at the people like us who no, it's not true, because they are like, hey, yeah, so what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about
You
it?
know?
That's the thing. And what you can do about it is not go fight some ice guy.
Right.
You know, like, that's the thing. Like, okay, that's how I know it's fake. If these people were really wanting to bring about social change and they were really protesting, they would go and do like we did. And they would go protest on the street, and they would try to effect change in their local areas first, and then try to start a grassroots movement. That's what we're doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they just go and, like, don't cooperate with ICE when they're trying to arrest them. That's just total script.
Yeah. You know what? I just had an epiphany.
An epiphany? Epiphany.
Is it possible that ice is not even real?
Totally.
I think maybe the whole thing is just another group of, they're like the stormtroopers that you know Trump or whoever have put into place, and it's like, here's your costume and here's your role and this is what you're gonna do.
Yep.
And like, people think that they're like these like stormtrooper type people, like just these monsters coming in and just dragging people out of their homes and shipping them off to some other country. I don't think that's happening.
No. And, it's all just a big script and a big movie to control people through their rage and their anger and their emotions.
Yeah, control people through their rage. They want to keep everybody mad. And if they can keep everybody mad at each other, then it's a lot easier, because they're distracted and they're busy being mad, so they're not busy doing other more constructive things.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy to be so mad.
Totally.
So,
and then if you keep drinking the Kool-Aid, you're just going to learn to hate these people because of what the media told me to do.
Yeah. And you know what else I've learned is that a lot of these like protests aren't even actually real either. So they have actual companies that organize these things. Organizations and companies, probably NGOs,
totally,
that organize these protests, and they have like companies where they can hire protesters. So they can hire a whole crowd of protesters. They can hire crisis actors.
Yep.
And so it's a high probability that the majority of people at these things aren't even actual real like protesters.
Yeah.
Like, most of them are probably just hired to be there. And then of course, like, some people like will show up because they hear about it or whatever, and so they like, oh, this is great, there's 1,000 people here, but like probably 850 of those people are hired to be there.
Totally. And they think they're cool, and they have no shame to their game. And you know what? Those people are going to get punished. You get used by Satan to go put on a show in order to manipulate people, you're going to get what's coming to you.
Yeah. So do some people actually really get like shot and hurt at these events? I think so. I think some people probably actually do get hurt, because I don't think the Culture Club has any reservations about actually like taking people out, if it's going to add to the scene, if it's going to add to the production value to actually like have a real death. But some of these events, I don't think they're even actually really killing people. I think they're staging it with actors, and
the means always justify the ends. You ever heard that term? The ends justify the means.
Right.
The means are the things that you do to reach the end. And these people have no shame to their game. They'll do anything for their movie in order to manipulate and control the political power structure their way. So they don't give a shit if they have to be completely fake. And they justify any kind of lying, any money that they have to spend in order to do these types of false flags, because I think that's a false flag. I think pretty and good are both false flags.
Yeah.
What's a false flag? A false flag is when you put on a fake event in order to provoke people into a war or a civil war or something like that. I think that's what's going on. And these people, the end is civil war, and they'll do anything. The means are always justifying the ends. So what you see now is a bunch of people who have no shame to their game. They'll do anything, and they'll just go out and totally be fake and totally put on a show and act like, oh my God, ICE killed that guy. We need to stop this. But it's all just a manipulation, you know?
Yeah, and I think so the people that go and like answer the casting calls for these kinds of things, I think they must be sort of MK Ultra'd in a way. You know, they've been brainwashed into probably thinking that this is a good cause that you're doing. We need more people to be there, and here we'll give you $100 if you show up at this thing. And they probably think like, oh, this is great. You know, I'm helping this cause, and then they get the higher paid ones to actually be like the real crisis actors that, you know, they have like speaking roles in the or death roles in these
like
things.
David Hogg.
Yeah.
He'll just show up at random school shootings and then come out on interviews and make statements, and he sold his little soul for that.
He did.
He's just like, I want to be a big somebody. I don't care.
Right.
And I think that's pretty much where people are at these days. People do not care about truth and justice. All they'll do is just take a bribe in order to forward this. And that's what I think this ICE shooting thing is. They're going to do a bunch of these ICE shootings because now it's their playbook.
Right.
You can tell. This is how they want to do it. So they're trying to bring about a civil war with ICE shootings.
And like, we shouldn't have guns because look how dangerous it is.
Did you see those two chicks that got dragged out of their car? And you're like, oh my God, I'm an American citizen. Well, if you're an American citizen and an ICE agent asks you to please step out of the car so I can check your ID, then step out of the car. But instead she's like, no, I don't need to. Excuse me, I'm not getting out of my car. And it's like, well, you're brown and you look like you're from out of town. So get the fuck out. You know, I agree with ICE for doing that, you know. And if you get asked to get out of the car and you refuse, then they should be able to frickin' beanbag you in the jaw. Like, if I get asked to get out of the car by even if, like, one of these construction workers comes up with their hard hat on and goes, excuse me, sir, you're going to need to move. I'm not happy about it, but I'll move. You know? These people, they're just like, excuse me, I'm a lesbian, and I get to do whatever I want.
And I'm making a point.
I'm making a point here. You don't tell me. And it's like, well, you know, I can tell now that that's the modus operandi. So you have ICE agents who are probably they're probably actors too. Like you said, ICE probably doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
There is no department called ICE that's actually helping our country by removing illegal immigrants. That's probably just fake.
Well, I think maybe a lot of them are probably placed in there, and possibly actors too, just to, you know, move the narrative along. You know, that like these big bad people are coming around and like rounding people up and stuff, you know, because I don't know. I could see that being the case. Couldn't you?
Totally. And it's such a hypocritical thing for that country from 1948 because they're like, excuse me, like in that country from 1948, they're all pissed that they have African migrants that came across their border and now are in their area. And so they're like, we need to get rid of these. We need to not only have a fence, but we need to make sure that the people are here get out. But then when we have any kind of initiative like that, they trounce all over it. So that's what's going on. It's just, you know, it's all a big manipulation. They don't want America anymore. They want to destroy America, and they'll do anything. These people have no bottom. And the fact is, this is the sad fact. We know that the people from that country from 1948 work for Satan and they'll do anything. That's understood. But what's disgusting is Americans align themselves with it for money and power and go become their little lackey puppets. And they go and they carry out these scripts for them. And that's an acquiescence. That's the real destruction of our country. Because if people didn't pay attention to them and didn't give them what they want, if they didn't get bought off, then they would have no power.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like that with everything. When people acquiesce to these ridiculous and tyrannical requests, then it's giving the tyrant the power. We're giving it to them.
Yeah. And the tyrant doesn't take power through force these days. The tyrant takes power through just going, hey, do you want to be famous? Okay, here.
And so many people want that. So I think, it's pretty obvious that all of these things are happening to destroy our country and ultimately the world. Like, they're trying to make everything implode because then they can really take over, So it's just like constant strife and chaos everywhere. And people just need to not fall for it,
Totally. Like, I hear people that drink the Kool-Aid and they go, oh my God, no person is illegal. And it's so bad. These ICE people are just deporting people. And then, the new Kool-Aid on that side, because I hear it, is they go, they're deporting American citizens. They're just going up, they're just completely horrific, and they're deporting Americans.
How do you deport an American citizen? Where are you sending them to?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
No. They're deporting nobody, first of all. And second of all, the script is they're deporting people who belong here. It's not true. But what is white pill for that ice? Because we haven't moved on to the ice part. That was just one part of the ice.
Well,
what's the white pill for the pretty shooting now?
White pill is wake up, people. This stuff that they're showing us, I think it's hard for so many people to fathom that they could be lied to on this scale, but people need to realize that the media, the news, and the government, they're not telling us the truth.
Nope.
And they make up stuff to control our behaviors, and they'll stop at nothing. Like, there's no limit to what they'll do to achieve their goals.
That's right. There's a line from 1984 where it says, power is not a means, it's an end. Meaning all they care about is total power. They don't care about power is not a means to making a better world or bringing about justice. Power is just the end. They want to be in power,
right,
and that's it.
And that answers a lot of the questions too, because some people are like, why would they do these things, or why would this rich person want well, they've already got all the money that they need.
They want money, but they want power.
They want
and
power.
Control.
They want power and control.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So white pill is, first of all, don't fall for it. And like we always say, the more people that realize what's happening and, know that these things are fake, the better. Because if less people go along with this stuff and fall into the hysteria, then their little games aren't going to work out as well.
That's right. And the other white pill is, when you're reading a news story, you need to understand what the agenda is. The agenda is the destruction of America and total power for that country from 1948. And there's a whole culture club. It's not just that country from 1948. It's all the people who've acquiesced to them. So we call it the culture club. The culture club.
Mm-hmm.
So the culture club controls all of the news. So every news story that you see is controlled by the culture club.
Yeah.
So what we have to do now is we have to understand that every story has an agenda, and you need to be asking yourself this when you read a news story. What is the takeaway that they want me to have here? And what is the reason that they're putting this news story out there? How is it forwarding their total power and control and preserving it? Because that's it. Now, the Culture Club has total power and control in the world, and now all they're doing is managing it and maintaining it.
Mm-hmm.
So these stories like the Good Samaritan and now the Pretty Boy.
Pretty boy.
So these stories are, they have a specific purpose, and that purpose is for them to stay in control. And I think if you can have that understanding, then you're not going to get blue pilled, and then you can be red pilled, and that's the first step. But then you have to be white pilled, and you have to be like, to be white pilled these days, you have to have patience and you have to have faith. You have to know that evil is going to be vanquished and good is going to prevail, and that's what you have to remember. And you have to have the proper perspective when you're reading these news stories, because it's all fake.
And also, what they want to keep going is the hatred and the conquer and divide theme. To have, people thinking there's two sides and each side hates each other. And when in fact, I think, there are extremes on both sides, but I think most people are sort of closer to the middle and want kind of a lot of the same things. People want to have, a happy life. They want to live in a good country that's safe, and they want peace, and they want people to prosper. And I think most people want that, and they've just keep this whole division going on with like race and parties and all the politics and everything to keep people fighting. But that is a media manipulation too. And it's funny, my brother actually sent me a funny cartoon this morning, and it was a drawing, and it had like a picture of Trump, and he looked all angry and like gruff. And then it had a guy, and it said he was on the right, and there was a guy that was on the left, and the guy on the right said, "He looks like a total mob boss," and he was like happy about it. And the guy on the left was like, "He looks like a total mob boss," and he was all like mad about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I thought that was kind of perfect, because it's like both people like kind of, they agreed, they thought the same thing, but they had a different attitude about it,
You know what that makes me think is the media manipulation that we've been under our whole lives, which you and I have talked about. They've been lying to us our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people fall into this trap of, it's not about let's just learn to live together in peace and harmony. Now it's about, no, I want them to lose. They need to lose.
Yeah, there's that mentality too, where it's like they don't even care. People have been so brainwashed, they don't care what's best for the country. They've been brainwashed into thinking, I just want the other side to lose.
I want them to lose,
yeah,
and I want us to win. But we've talked about how that is the false dichotomy. That's like the Hegelian dialectic and the two sides in the divide and conquer. But that's all fake. But what's going on now is people are so filled with hate, they want the other side to suffer.
Yeah.
And that's what it is now. People want to see some suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Because just having you be happy and prospering, and I'm happy and prospering, that's not enough. You need to suffer.
Yeah.
So that's the white pill for the ICE shooting. Now, the white pill there is, don't get fooled by the media stories. Understand the agenda, put it in the proper perspective, and ask yourself, what is the takeaway? What's the agenda?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and so did we cover that that ice.
So now let's talk about the other ice.
Ice on the rocks.
It's ice on the rocks.
Ice, baby.
So it's ice, baby. So we had one ice story, and now we're kind of in an ice age because there's lots of ice.
Yeah.
So the other ice story was Dane Wigington. It's not Whittington, it's Wigington. He was on Man in America, and I didn't catch any of it, but I just saw, like, when I opened up Rumble, they kind of played the video. And he is this guy who's been putting forth this notion that there is no global warming, climate change like Al Gore's talking about. What there is weather modification taking place by every government in the world using geoengineering.
Right.
And this ice storm that took place in Texas.
They're having an ice storm in Texas, and there's a lot of ice in, like, South Carolina. I think it's, like, sweeping through the South, which is weird. It's not normal.
They're having freezing
Ice,
temperatures.
snow, yeah, in places that don't usually get it.
And what Dane Wigington is saying is that's not natural. That is a function of these HARP weather systems. They can actually create cold, they can create hot, they can create drought, they can create deluge, they can steer hurricanes, they can make tornadoes larger. And people act like this is ridiculous. No, there's patents, and there's been professions by leaders of state like LBJ saying, if you can control the weather, you can control the world. So they've been doing this since the 60s. They can. Every country in the world does weather manipulation.
Or even longer. I just had an epiphany.
You had an epiphany.
Do you think they've been doing this since the other ice age? Remember those animals that lived 200 million years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe they were manipulating the weather back then too.
I don't know. Maybe. Well, that's if they had hidden technologies that we don't know about. It seems like for sure these days what's going on is they're manipulating the weather so that there are weather anomalies taking place, so that people are going to go, this seems weird, and then they're going to go, it is weird, it's because of your car, and it's because you eat meat.
Yeah, so that's the really hard argument with the people that are totally freaked out about the whole climate change or Cly.Ange situation.
Glow.ming.
Yeah, the Earth modification, as we like to call it,
which Dane Wigington pretty much calls it Earth modification.
Yeah, it's a hard thing for people who are being brainwashed into this mindset to wake up to, because when you tell them this stuff, they just say, no, it's because of your car, or the cows are farting, or whatever the news story is of the week. But it's hard for them to accept the fact that, okay, there are actually patents talking about this stuff, and it's been proven that they are doing this. And now, so this is another thing where I feel like they're just putting it out in our, like, right in front of our faces and laughing at us. What about Bill Gates talking about dimming the sun? Yeah. Like, he's talking about that, and they're actually talking about this like this is a good idea. I mean, dimming the sun is what everything lives from.
Well, I think Bill Gates has signed on to play the bad guy and to play the foil that everyone can blame stuff on. So he comes out with these ridiculous things because the Culture Club is getting ready to let us accept that weather modification is real. Because did you see this story? Trump has taken over the rebuilding of the Palisades.
Oh.
And he said,
to make a 15-minute city.
These Democrats burned it down on purpose.
And now I'm going to build it. It's going to be Trump Palisades.
That's it. Kind of like in Gaza. But see the manipulation there? It's the Democrats are doing the weather manipulation. It's not that country from 1948 and the Culture Club doing it across the world. It's the Democrats.
Yeah.
So it's becoming more like they're saying, yeah. No, there is weather modification going on. And we are doing areas.
Yeah. So it's funny that they will believe like certain parts of the story, but not others. Like they'll believe that Bill Gates can, that they're going to dim the sun. Yet when you tell them that they're doing things to create rainstorm and snow and ice and all these other hurricanes, tornadoes, they don't want to believe that. So it's like very hypocritical. It's just like all of their stories, just like with cooties and everything else, you know, people will believe the parts that they want to believe, but they won't take into consideration, okay, well, if they're lying about that part, is it not possible that they could be lying about the other parts too? Or if they're doing this, if they're, you know, dimming the sun, is it not possible that they could also be like creating snow and ice? You know, it's just, that's what blows my mind, is how people can pick and choose what to believe from like these news stories, you know?
You ever heard that term, what a tangled web we weave?
Yes.
And that's always what happens when you start to tell lies.
Mm-hmm.
So once you start telling one lie, now you got to tell these other lies in order to keep your lie going.
Right.
And after a while, it gets so tangled, and it's unbelievable how tangled the web becomes because of all the lies. And that's what's gone on now. The lies have been so ubiquitous, and we've been lies have been foisted on us so much that I think people kind of just tune out.
Yeah.
Because when you sit there and you try to break down what's really going on to people, a lot of people don't have the
they don't have the mental bandwidth to,
no, they're just like, I don't care.
They've been blue pilled for so long, and they're so sedated that they cannot, you know, open their eyes to even consider the possibility that these things could not be true.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think, you know, the lies, they're so big and they've been going on for so long, and they're involving like just the fundamental aspects of our very beings. And so it's nearly impossible for some people to open their eyes and their minds to accept the idea that these things are lies.
So they'll just be like, you know what, Trump's a good guy. Look at the winds.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just sit back and I'm going to go on a cruise because I'm stressed out.
I'm going to go have my espresso martini, and I'm just not going to think about this.
Or like my Lyft driver. The other day, I go, you didn't take the shot, did you? He's like, well, yeah, I took the shot. And I'm like, well, dude, the shots are gnarly, bro. And he's like, well, I wanted to go to a concert. It's a band I really liked.
Oh, God.
And they weren't going to let me in unless I got the shot, so...
Like, some people have no spines. Like, they'll just bend over for anything, you know? It's like,
that's
oh
what
my
I'm
God.
And you know what I think it is, you ever seen that movie, The Verdict?
Yeah.
It's got Paul Newman.
That's a good one.
And he plays a lawyer that's going up against this huge law firm because Big Shawarma causes this lady to go into a coma and die. And their parents try to sue the insurance company, and the insurance company sends all their big lawyers against Paul Newman's just a little lawyer, public defender, and he's a drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And in his closing argument, he goes, people get so tired of lies that they just shut down. And I think that's what's going on. I think that people get lied to so much that they just shut down.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to fight against these days.
Right.
You have to continuously fight against the avalanche of lies and keep digging out of them.
Right.
Because if you don't, you're just going to get buried and die under an avalanche of lies.
Well, yeah, and also realize that it's not safer or better or happier to just take a blue pill and pretend none of it's happening. It's not. It's better to know. Don't you think it's better to know what's happening?
Totally.
You know, because at least you're awake and aware and you're not being duped and fooled. I think what happens is, you know, the people that take the blue pills and pretend like it's not happening, the dangerous part of that is they can start to believe the lies, and the more lies they believe, it's easier to believe more lies, you know? Like, we've been lied to since we were little kids, and they've told these lies that are so huge that people can't argue them, you know? Like, they just give you an excuse like gravity, or 200 million years ago, or 300,000 light years away.
It just is the way it is.
You
Shut
know?
up.
Yeah.
And
how
yeah.
do you argue like about 200,000 light years? How are you going to argue that? You know,
And that's, well, I mean, exactly. When someone says 10,000 light years away, and you're just supposed to just go, oh, okay, so I travel at the speed of light for 10,000 years and I can reach that thing that I can see. Oh, that sounds good.
It must be gigantor.
Exactly. It's just so stupid. So I think what people do is they just, they take a blue pill. The thing that I can't take a blue pill.
They just nod and agree and go, okay.
I can't take a blue pill because it usually is some kind of a media bubble. That's what a blue pill is. It's some kind of a media bubble that's sealed up by some type of like Band-Aid that just goes, by the way, I know that doesn't make sense, but it's this. Just accept it. And then you just have to kind of just swallow it.
Yeah, because gravity, or because light years, or whatever.
So it's a media bubble that's what people are in. And so what you have to do is you have to fight against that, because what they get you rendered into a state of is traumatized, and you're afraid. Mm-hmm. And now you go turn to your media bubble, and that's when they suck you in. So what you have to do in order to maintain red velvet cake, what's the white pill for this episode? Red velvet cake. And in order to maintain red velvet cake, you have to be able to pick through the avalanche of lies, and you have to be not willing to just take a blue pill because it's easier. And you have to keep fighting the good fight, and you have to have faith, and you have to have patience, and you have to trust that good is going to prevail and evil is going to be vanquished. And I think that's the white pill on this episode, because both ices are kind of like freezing us into a universe of lies. I think that's what the ices are doing today.
Right. But unfortunately, the second ice actually, you know, even though we know it's manipulated and fabricated, there actually is ice in these places. So people are having to deal with that, you know, which is probably an inconvenience. But I think maybe a white pill for those people is to realize that it is fabricated, and it'll go away soon, you know, and they'll probably move on to a different area, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is gnarly because it causes all kinds of power outages in that area, and then sometimes people are like freezing cold at night.
Yeah.
There's no power. You have to remember that is being manipulated, and then what they'll do is they'll say these weather anomalies are caused by global warming, and they're caused by your driving your car, and they're caused by you eating meat, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to keep using these weather modification tools and blaming it on your eating habits,
your consumption,
and corralling you into a more austere lifestyle.
Now this is ironic too, because you know, they create these situations where there's power outages and stuff, yet at the same time they're telling everybody to, you know, convert everything over to electric. You know, they want people driving electric cars. They don't want you to have a gas range in your house. They want your water heater to be electric. They want everything to be electric. But I think that's all part of the plan, so they can then be like, oh, you're using too much electricity, so we're going to have to turn you off.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. It's all a manipulation. That's what it is. It's all the lies are a manipulation. It's all for the purposes of total control. They want to destroy America. They want to have us in a digital prison. They want us to have us all be slaves and then exterminated. So just remember that that's the agenda. That's what the lies are about. And don't get discouraged with all the lies and just go take a blue pill. Because we can't just have people walking around blue pilled anymore and just going on cruises.
No.
And, we also talked about how Big Shawarma and Starbucks and probably McDonald's all has like chemicals in it that make you compliant.
Mm-hmm.
And what does compliant mean? It means here, swallow these lies. You know?
Yeah.
Just take these lies. This is what you want to swallow.
Totally.
Don't be fighting against that.
Yeah, and I mean, what we really need now is, we don't need a civil war. We need a revolution.
We need a revolution.
We need a
Renaissance. Civil war is just going to lead to the Culture Club having total power.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have a revolution where the Culture Club loses power and the people take power back around the world.
Exactly.
Is that everything?
I think that's everything for today. I'm sure tomorrow there will be another storm of some sort.
Well, yeah, we talked about that. It's like the Jason Bourne movie.
Yeah.
What happens in the Jason Bourne movie? There's a cut every 2 seconds.
Right.
So that's what the news stories are like.
Yeah. Breaking news.
Today there'll be a
Bombshell.
breaking news bombshell, and then tomorrow we'll forget all about it, and there'll be the new one tomorrow that we're going to be mad about. It's the 24 hours hate.
Yeah.
It's not 2 minutes hate anymore. It's 24 hours hate.
But we'll be back to talk about the next one. won't
We'll
we?
be back.
It'll be another rabbit hole.
Like I said, I think what we are is we're Dawn, and we're squirted into the grease to break up the grease. That's what we do. All right.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.